December 31st of 2007, our city has seen 411 non-fatal shootings. That's I got shot in the arm and I didn't die, I got shot in the butt, didn't die, grazed. 91 of them were minorities. That's 95% of the people getting shot are either black or they're Hispanic. Of that 411 people who have been shot that did not die, 74% were African American males or black males, which is by all means seriously disproportionate. So that's a problem. So some have the theory, well, the shooting is not really a big deal. It's happening all around the city. It's only happening to a few people. It's happening to specific individuals. We have black males, 74% out of the 411 being shot, perpetrator being black male. So it's black on black crime. We heard about this in the 90s. That's what we're dealing with. Young black males. We'll move to the homicides. 52 homicides from 2005 January until December 31st last year, 2007. 52 homicides. Of the 52 homicides, 75%, which were 39 of those homicides, African Americans. 19% Hispanic. You add the two numbers together, and we can see again, minorities at the front end of the homicides. Gun violence. So, the issue tonight is just to focus on that. If you live in a specific neighborhood, Newhallville, Dixwell, Kensington, a certain segment of Fairhaven, that's where a lot of these shootings are happening. Whaley Avenue often becoming the borderline between one faction group, say Newhallville, shooting against somebody in Kensington, all of the gunfire erupting in the Whaley Avenue area, as we saw in 2006, where we had 10 homicides in just this area alone. I have not added in this year's homicides to this, which right now, off the top, we had the two on County Street, two black males shot and killed. One at the Cardinals Club a week later, one at the top of Golf and the Golf Terrace, and then we had an additional one. So I think that number is about 5 black males have already been killed this year already. Gun violence. Perpetrators, in most cases, African American. Is it a problem in the black community? Absolutely. Absolutely. In our households right now, you probably have somebody that has AIDS in your family, somebody that has had a drug abuse problem in your family, somebody that has some malignant illness, cancer, or something like that. And truly, you know somebody in your family that knows somebody that has been either shot and somebody who has been shot and killed. So even if you don't live in these neighborhoods, it's still an issue to you because the shootings are happening everywhere across the city. And we have to find a way to focus on addressing it at every level. So it's great that we have youth programs and jobs and all of those other things, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, and only a block, less than a block away from here, about maybe 100 yards from where we're sitting right now, when 2 young men can be shot to death with bullets raining out of over 25 to 30 bullets being shot at 4 o'clock in the morning. Every telephone at the police department should be ringing. Every police officer's cell phone, pager number, the police chief phone should be ringing because the community should be calling saying, somebody's out here shooting 30 times at something, and we're not going to tolerate this. But instead, the phones are not ringing. And it's happening in the black community. And the black community is not calling the police to say somebody's out here shooting. It's just that simple. And if that's not happening, guess what happens as a result of that? Out of 411 shootings, the percentage of the solvability, that means the people that actually get arrested and go to jail as a result of pulling the trigger don't go to jail because nobody's calling the police. Because nobody wants to come forward and say, he did it. He killed that boy. He blew that boy's head off there last night for no reason. So they walked the street. So out of 411 people, you can be rest assured, a large percentage, if not 90%, of them are walking the street. Yeah, I shot you last week, so what? I'll see you at the club next week. What you gonna do? Nothing. And it keeps going and going and going. This is our issue. This is an issue in the black community. We have to take serious measures. I know people are doing stuff. Everybody's doing stuff. That's great. We need to do more because the shootings are still going. So those are the numbers to keep in mind tonight. 411 shootings just in 3 years. Okay, that's 100 black men literally getting shot every year. If that's okay with some folks, it shouldn't be okay with New Haven community. Black, white, Hispanic, Christian, Muslim, Jews, whatever you do. This should be unacceptable. We should not want to turn the page, or it's our neighbor, or it's us. So, thank you, think about that, and we'll move forward.
Good evening, everyone. In light of the statistics that Brother Shafiq just gave us, we are facing a serious situation in the city of New Haven. I'm here tonight to give you the revelation of Dare to Stand, where it came from. So I'm going to share a small story with you. It was some time ago, a short time ago, I was at my mom's house spending some time with her. And I heard a large commotion outside of her door. So I jump up and I go to the door, and it's a group of young men of whom I've watched grow up, you know, from babies. I know these kids. They're all out there fighting, and it's not just a fight where we'll fight and get it over with. These kids were really trying to hurt one another. I mean, really hurt one another. So my immediate response is, let me get out here and get in between this. Let me get in the mix and try to break this up. Because if I don't, I know the possibility of this erupting in gunfire is just that great. So as I run out there and I get in between these young men, began to pull them apart, I'm looking at my surroundings. I'm looking at everything that is going on around me. And what I notice is that there are a number of people from my community who are standing around waiting to see the outcome of this situation. What is wrong with that picture? So I break these boys apart. And at this point, I'm saying, you know, Lord, I just hope that you keep this situation in wraps, because I know what the possibility of gunfire is. I know what can possibly happen. Lo and behold, before I could get those young men apart, one of them yelled to someone else, "Go get my gun." Now mind you, I'm still in the midst of this. As a matter of fact, I'm holding these young men apart. My worst fear is recognized. A gun is brought to that gentleman. And I'm in the mix, at this point, holding his arm that he's holding the gun in. And mind you, these are kids that I've watched grow up from babies. As I'm holding him, it is giving the other gentleman an opportunity to get into his car in order to try to pull off. When he made it to his car, the gentleman that I'm holding broke away from me and opened fire on that car with no regard, for my being there, for the children who were out there being there, for the elders of the community being there, with no regard. But getting back to the point of the community, people, the community was in the wrong place. The community was in the wrong frame of mind. The community is saying, I'd much rather watch and see what happens. I'd much rather watch and see someone be hurt than to dare to stand against what I know is wrong. What I know should not be happening in my community. It was at that pivotal moment for me that God had given me a revelation that people in our communities needed to be encouraged to stand. You have to stand for something, or you'll continue to fall for anything. So it played in my mind over and over and over again. Dare to stand. Dare to stand. As that young man pulled away in that car, and I knew that this young man was opening fire on that car, I just hoped that someone besides myself wanted to take the initiative to get involved. Whether it be calling the police, whether it be getting those children out of the way, whether it be getting yourselves out of the way so that you're not hurt. Nevertheless, none of that took place. The Webster Dictionary tells us that the word dare means to have sufficient courage, to have the urge to change. I ask you tonight, when you look at yourselves, have you dared to stand in your communities? Have you done all that you could possibly do in your communities to better your communities, for the children in your communities, for yourselves? If you look at yourself today and say that, yes, I have, well, that's good. That's good. But for those of us who look and say that maybe not, today is the day to dare to stand. Dare to stand for the children in your communities. Dare to stand against gun violence in your communities. Dare to stand to make your community a better place. But whatever you do, dare to stand. That is where dare to stand is coming from. It is coming deep from within the bellies of the people who are standing at this point. But we need everyone to stand. And tonight is a night of collaboration where everyone can take part in daring to stand. Thank you.